That's what we call.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and start the recording. As Christy said, it's January 31st, and definitely ready to move forward with a lot of excitement into this next month. January has been a wonderful month of momentum. It's been a wonderful month to learn from in a lot of ways. For those of you who have been doing the do and out there having conversations, you know, there's a lot of people who are saying, I'm ripe, I'm ready to pick me, and they want to get healthy. And there's a lot of people who haven't yet pulled that trigger, and they're starting to feel a little pressure and regret. So I find in just this whole health and wellness industry, February can be as good of a month as January. It really is. And in some cases, it's better because of all the seeds that you've planted. And then also sometimes the reactive aspect of I didn't do what I wanted to do in January. So you kind of get like super busy in February. And so that's really, really exciting with that. So with that in mind, we're going to have a lot of great things to cover today. So what I thought I'd just start off with right off the bat is the Take Shape for Life University. For those of you that are new to the group, we do a segment here that takes us through the curriculum of the habits of health. It takes us through the nurse's call, the doctor call, the leadership call, and the webinar, and we do a quick 2 to 5 minute review on each of those segments. So not that we can learn everything that happened in those segments, but to kind of get the highlights from a coach's perspective of why you want to listen to that and what might be relevant to your clients and your coaches. So as you're taking notes, as Christy had mentioned, make sure that you put a star or an action, like an A, next to something that you hear that's actionable, and write the coaches or the potential client or the client's name next to that information so that you can lead them to that. So when somebody's talking about a doctor's call and they talk about maybe the myths about soy and what we're finding as far as that, you might go, oh, I've got a client who had a concern about soy. I want to know where that call is. Okay, you get the idea. And then obviously writing down dates for upcoming events. So with that in mind, I think we'll kick it off and go right to let's see. Dan, are you covering some stuff today?
Yeah, I was going to cover the doctor's call.
All right, great. We'll start it off with the doctor's call. Give us the things that you found that were just a highlight or interest for us that we want to take note of, and then we'll go from there.
Okay. Sure. The doctor's call was from this week, January 29th, and I don't remember the doctor's name. I just got, maybe it was Dr. Greg, and I wasn't sure because he didn't introduce himself. But he had a bunch of callers on there, and I'll just kind of just give the highlights of what the topics that were covered. So there was one on Crohn's disease, and then kind of the question was with soy. The other call was on was a person that was on and off the program with uterus cancer, and again related to the question about soy, and it really referenced to go back to Dr. Garcia's ones back in earlier December that we heard about. Another on one of the calls was about a person that lost quite a bit of weight so far, and then she was just getting down to her last few pounds, and she was just wondering how to keep the momentum going, which kind of reminded us on kind of the tricks to make sure that you're keeping up with your weight loss. And some of those, I'll just highlight those again, were like splitting up your lean and green, either taking it in the morning and afternoon, making sure your vegetables, you're going after the low glycemic vegetables, your exercise, if you're not doing very much, to increase a little bit, or if you're doing too much, need to decrease it a little bit. And then lastly is making sure that you're sleeping all right. Your sleep affects your metabolism. And another couple of the other call on there the risk benefit if versus on kidney stones, and so whether or not to go on a metafast as far as a weight loss, which any weight loss program has no matter which one that you're doing, has the effects of kidney stones. And so, if a person is, let's say, going on a program, you got to making sure that you're drinking enough water to help pass those. And let's see. And there was a couple of the other ones. One on a person that was on a 5-in-1. It was actually is in the transition phase of getting headaches and really trying to figure out where are those coming from. And so when you're kind of doing it kind of quickly, you may have to go back in and let's say if you're transitioning and you didn't know whether it was related to the dairy or increase of vegetables, but kind of go back and then just to seeing what the effects were. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's a great overview. I just want to just give some feedback on some of the things I heard Dan talk about. I definitely wrote down several people's names to go that I could think of clients wise that have concerns about different things. I just as an example, the reference back to Dee Garcia's talk in December. So now I'm going to go to supportcallsonline.com. I'm going to go to the doctor's call for December, and I'm going to find Dee Garcia. And I had literally a coach on the OHC, one of the Preston Box coaches, was asking about where's the information on that just the other day. And there's the answer right there. Go back to that. And it really makes it more effective. So just in that little 4 minutes that Dan shared, we got topics on kidney stones. And I just want to give a clarity. When you're in a weight loss, it doesn't mean it's going to make kidney stones. It says it's the potential for developing kidney stones during any weight loss program, period. I don't care if you're eating whole foods or MetaFast meals or whatever, you run the risk of creating, it's a mineral deposit thing. It's just a change in the way your body's working. And so what that means is it doesn't mean you can't lose weight. It means you need to make sure you have the balance of nutrients and water that you need to keep that mitigated. And if somebody's at high risk, their doctor needs to kind of maybe do some things to watch and support and check different enzyme levels. Okay. So I'll give you guys a quick example. When I first lost weight when I was 19, I developed gallstones. It had nothing to do with MetaFast. I didn't even know about MetaFast back then. And I had to have my gallbladder removed because I lost 50 pounds over the course of 6 or 7 months. And my body just did this. I didn't drink enough water. And I remember I didn't know that. So anyway, very good to know. Anybody else have questions or comments before we move on?
Thank you, Dan, for sharing. And that whole kidney stone, I was like, oh my gosh, another great reason why we want to drink our water.
Another great reason to listen to doctor's calls too, right? So awesome. Thank you. All right. I'd like to move on and have Kimberly Kinlock bust out her share. I think you've got the HOH call, and then we'll see how you do with that, and maybe do the leadership call right back to back, or not leadership, but webinar if you've got them both.
Excellent. Good morning, everybody. Happy to be on the call with you. So we've got the Habits of Health call. We've got Miss April that is going to share that with us. I'd like everybody to welcome Miss April Ching. Go ahead and unmute, my dear, and then give us your 2 to 3 minute rundown on the Habits of Health call. And that was January 29th, 2004.
So one of the first things that she said was that health is like laundry. It's never done. And I thought that that was a really good statement because it's true, especially in my house. It's never done. And she said it's also like the game of leapfrog, how it's a continuous game. And as you were playing with your friends in the backyard, you would leap over them, they would leap over you, and it was a continuous process. And by the time you knew it, you were out of room, but that the journey continued. She said you just turned around and you went the opposite way in the yard. And for me, that was really good because I kind of likened those, the leaping process to maybe those obstacles that we have to go over, but that, you know, it's still fun. And she really emphasized how important it was to make it fun. She also said that there were, hold on just a second. Peony, can you please be quiet?
He's doing fine. He's not bothering any of us. So
Okay, I just want to make sure you guys can hear what I'm
can hear
saying.
you just fine. You're perfect.
Okay.
Yeah, the program is called Take Shape for Real Life. So we're okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and he's not the type to just sit and watch a movie. So
He's fine.
he's all over. But she said that our path can be likened to two things: either the yellow brick road from the Wizard of Oz, where it's kind of fun and you follow this path, or you can make it be like the Green Mile, where you're going to your execution. And I thought that was really important, because if we only have one goal of weight loss, which for me has always been the goal, I'm going to lose this much weight and this is my end point, but really making it the journey and following the path instead of having a specific endpoint, and how that no matter where we are in our health, no matter what goals we do reach, because we do need those goals, there is very rarely a point in any of our journeys where we don't have something else we can reach for, that's something else we can do for our health. And with the 12-week challenge, whether it's healthy weight, healthy rest, healthy mind, healthy eating, or healthy habits of motion, we all have things, even when we attain certain goals, that we can still reach for more. But that reaching out for those additional goals and continuing on this journey, it is a choice. But when we make the choice to make it fun, that makes us want to do more, and we also get more enjoyment out of the things that we are achieving, because we have more confidence, we feel better in general. So it was a really good call for me to be part of, just to see that there really isn't an end point when you focus on health, as opposed to, I'm going to lose this much weight.
That's amazing. I love some of the analogies that were given. And does anybody else have any comments that ring personal for you as you hear that you've had breakthroughs in?
One of the things, the presenter was Kelly Rife, by the way. Mm-hmm. One of the things that I loved what she said was, and it was from Dr. A's, I'm drawing a blank, his newer one. Anyway, his newer one. Where is it?
Discover your optimal health.
Yes, thank you. Discover your optimal health. The space shuttle is only 2% of the time on target. All the other times are readjusting its course. And that's our health journey. We have to constantly get that gyroscope out and readjust to where we want to go. It was a fantastic call. So thank you. Israel has something to say.
Yeah, I listened to the call and I got some good feedback. He was one of the things that stuck out to me is your mindset has to really change in order to really have optimal health. Like if that doesn't change between your ears, you're never going to have long-lasting health. So that was really key. And your health is true wealth. I mean, without your health, nothing else matters. I mean, if you have all this money or have all these other things, it really doesn't matter if you're sick and dying. So that's really key. And they also made it focused on moms. I know moms, you guys have so much that you do and you give and you take care of pretty much everybody around you, but you sometimes don't take the time to take care of yourself. And if you don't take the time to take care of yourself, how can you take care of anybody else? So you got to take that time to do that.
Wow, that's okay. I haven't listened to the call yet. Now I'm like going,
Alex.
It was a great call.
There was a special caller that called in.
Yeah.
So you have to call. You have to listen to.
I have to listen to see who this special caller was that called in, huh?
Yeah.
The first caller was amazing.
Okay. Is it going to be funny when I listen to see who it is?
Oh no, you'll love it. It's amazing. Yeah. It's. I'm not going to do a spoiler alert.
Exactly. I wonder who it is. Okay. All right.
Awesome.
So we're on to the webinar now?
Yes. So the webinar, it was on the 29th, which was February. It was Doug Wood finishing the Much Strong, setting the pace in January for February and March. And there was a lot of stuff on this, guys. I took like 3 pages of notes. So it was really hard for me to condense good things to share. One of the things that I really enjoyed, he talked about the next couple months as a funnel. And, you know, when you start out, you know, your funnel is really small on the end. But as you layer your frontline volume, or you layer coaches or people, your funnel starts getting wider at the top. And so he talked about, is our funnel just enough, or is it bountiful? Is it flowing over? So he talked about being consistent. Consistency means being good as you were the last time and just as good every time in the future. Another thing too that I really liked, that I've been working on really hard these past probably 6 months, is not being attached to the numbers. If you're not attached to the numbers, you're going to talk to anybody and everybody about what we have to offer, our full offering. Terry Miller mentioned that we have about 800 people a day that are joining the 12-week challenge. And Doug Wood said, that's not good enough. And so he said, how about we have 2,000 people a day join the Habits of Health, or their journey in the 12-week challenge. So those were a couple of really good points. He did give some action steps that I enjoyed, because if you don't have a plan to make February and March better, it's just a dream. You have to make action steps in order for that dream to come about. So some of the top action steps that I liked was, he said, first of all, Sunday, host a Super Bowl party. Get involved with people. Show people how eating healthy, you can do it anytime. Whether it's a game, whether it's a birthday party, you can have fun and enjoy life without eating junk. As a side note, do you know how many calories people consume, the average person consumes at each Super Bowl? 4,000 calories for a Super Bowl in what? A 3-hour span of time? So that was a side note I wanted to throw in. Do you know, the other one was referrals. Do you know, or do your clients know how to make referrals? If you haven't taught them how to make referrals, they're going to say that they do MetaFast. So they're going to go to their friends are going to go to the MetaFast website. And a really good webinar was a Brad Miller webinar on the Team Global webinars. He did a section on how to teach your client how to refer. Utilizing social media, before and after pictures. And let's see. One of the things he said you could say is, right now I'm accepting, I just transitioned 2 new clients into maintenance. He says, now I'm accepting 2 new clients. So if you know anybody who's wanting health, I'm accepting new clients right now. So he told everybody to challenge theirself to push themselves just a little further. So it's not just enough, but that we make this a bountiful month. So that's my time.
That was so great. Oh, I could say so much. I'll open it up to other people. Anything that just resonates with you about that call, that if you were on it, or just what Kimberly said. I guess it stands on its own, Kimberly.
Hey, Kimberly,
Yeah.
I wanted to share. I love. I just love how you share, because you do such a really good job. But being able to, that's not one that I've looked at yet. It's like, okay, I need to do that, and now sometimes those I need to do that things can kind of get pushed down. That one's like at the top now. Like, oh yeah, that's going to happen today. You just showed me how I need to make sure I do that, because I want my funnel to overflow. I don't want just enough. So I love that. Good job, girl.
Hey, Kimberly, it's Sam. Hey, everybody.
Hey.
I just have to say you did an awesome job presenting, and I love that webinar. And one of the things that Doug and Tia, I just love so much about them is they are just so much about, look, don't take the foot off the pedal. January's done, we hit a bunch of records and everything, but it's still the first of the year. There's still so much work to be done, and I think you really captured that really well. So thank you.
That's so great. I just wanted to say to, and I'm not sure who's early morning people or not, but I wanted to propose that if you haven't watched it and you have kind of a team, is that sometimes you might say, hey, who wants to get together Saturday morning and listen to the Brian Drollinger A-Team call together, over coffee, and then maybe watch the webinar together and take notes and talk about it and have your own little kind of regional gathering of people. And if you are kind of an area where you're by yourself, you can go and do that with others that are already plugged in. Just check with your mentorship so that you are in the know. Like I'm compelled to want to say, hey, Daniela, and because she's local, Holly, and I'm trying to think who else is local. If I'm missing you, I'm just not seeing you. I'm talking, and oh yeah, well, everybody else is on here. Amanda, I know people that live somewhere close to where I am at. You guys want to get together for coffee, and go through that if you haven't already done that. The other thing that you said, and I want to just 2 points on the review, is the do MetaFast comment. We were at a healthy happy hour last night, and it was a phenomenal healthy happy hour. But some people, they know it as a MetaFast thing, right? And they go, oh, I know a MetaFast coach. And then I found out that that my coach, my friend, she's a MetaFast coach. So I was like, hey, tell me about MetaFast. And that's their perspective. You don't want to jump all over them and go, no, it's not MetaFast. But you do want to say, oh, have you actually heard about Take Shape for Life and how, what that is, and explain it from that standpoint. So we want to look at those cues, educate people about the comprehensiveness and the support. And then the last thing I want to say about that is when you hear something like teaching clients how to refer, that is a skill set that you don't want to wait to learn. You want to learn that right in the beginning while it's hard, because I know you get overwhelmed in the beginning, but you want to learn to bring clients on with this skill set of teaching them how to refer right from the very beginning, because it'll be hard to reprogram your brain down the road to add that, and you will miss on so many friends and family that want to join this person, but you haven't taught them how to not be scared and how to invite people. So I encourage us all to listen to that Brad Miller webinar again. I listened to that multiple times, and I'm so glad that I do. I really don't go looking for clients anymore. Most of them come from my existing clients and the energy that's there. So there's so much there. Let's all watch the Doug Wood webinar. I scheduled it already to watch it on Saturday morning for myself. So those of you that want to join me Saturday morning, let me know, send me a shout out, and we'll get together if you want at my place or for coffee somewhere neutral. We'll pull up the web and go for it. Any other questions, comments before we move on? Okay.
Hey, Alex, I really like that idea. Thank you for sharing that, bringing the team together to watch a webinar. That kind of reminds me of some mini little coaching event, the little post when you're at one of the bigger local events, and then afterwards, we kind of huddle together and sort of discuss, and that's a way to sort of recreate that and keep that jacuzzi warm, right?
It is. It's definitely. And the ideas and the creativeness and the focus, absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you. I like that.
Good. All right. Well, I'd like to move on and have Israel. I think we switched it up a little bit, and I think we have you doing the nurses call. I just want to get an acknowledgement from Amanda. Did you get my text, Amanda, about potentially having you do the leadership call today? Okay, so it's okay. We're going to have Israel do the nurses call because we switched it up. I sent you a message yesterday, and if you didn't get it, it's quite all right. So pardon that, and you can piggyback. So did you listen to the nurses call yourself?
Actually, Alex, I made a mistake, and I listened to the Habits of Health call, thinking it was a nurse's call.
Okay.
And so I was so pumped to give that information, and then when I forget the name of the other lady that actually did it,
Kimberly.
She gave all the information. I'm like, oh shoot, that's what I was going to give. So I apologize. I didn't listen to the nurse's call, but I have great information on the Habits of Health call.
Hey, Alex, I say something?
Yeah, please.
I think we all kind of got confused this week. I just listened to Nurses Call this morning, and we all listened to the Nurses Call. I think I don't know if the lines crossed or if we all dialed the wrong numbers, but the Nurses Call was what you actually did listen to, and that wasn't the Habits of Health. I don't know, or maybe when you called in, their lines crossed. I don't know, but I did listen to Nurses Call this morning, and it was the exact same thing that you did listen to, Israel.
Because Alex, that number you gave me was the
Nurses Call.
Yeah, the whole habit. Health is like your laundry; it's never done, stuff like that.
Okay, well, let's just clarify. So, Kimberly, did it say it was the HOH call? Did it say it was the nurses, or can somebody add some kind of clarity? We don't need to talk too long about this, but I am curious.
It said it was the nurses this morning when I did it, but who knows?
Well, so when April and I listened to it, it was the live one. So on Wednesday night. So I can't say to the recording.
I heard, and I don't even remember where I heard this or saw it, but they said that they were having some troubles with the lines and that things were kind of messed up. So I think, and that happened last week as well. We had somebody saying it was the nurse call, but it was actually a Habits of Health call. And so I think that some things happened. Either they flipped the numbers on us and didn't tell us, or something's going on. So I heard that, not just
okay.
From here, but I did hear that. So
I guess to get some sense of closure, we've got some really great information. I think we've got some actionable items. Does anybody know that they actually listened to the HOH call for a fact that it said this is the Habits of Health call?
Kimberly, they listened to it live.
Yeah, but you're saying that because everybody else is saying that was the nurse's call. Maybe just the recorded number is the one.
I think the Habits of Health
back to HOH
got the Habits of Health recording got put on the nurse's recording.
Got it. Okay. So at this point, did anybody actually listen to the nurse's call live? I guess that's the question. Okay, so we can move on. All right. So with that in mind,
hey Alex.
Yes, please.
Can I say something about that? Maybe Habits of Health call.
Yeah, go for it.
One thing I got out of it is that they talked about, people say they're getting healthy and all that, but unless they are still smoking and stuff like that, there's always room for improvement. Basically, those are deal breakers in being healthy. And that she said to keep it fun, that health never ends. You always can get healthier, and that doesn't mean I need to lose weight, but it means that I want to eat better. I want to start running. I want to build muscle. And she also mentioned that there's 5 paths of health, the healthy weight, the healthy eating, the healthy sleeping, healthy mind, and healthy emotion. And so I just want to get those little things into there that were said.
Yep, it's a comprehensive circle. It's not just one thing. Everybody seems to be so focused on the eating and the food, and it's our role to help them break into a whole new world of what optimal health really is. Absolutely. So good. Well, I thank you, everybody, for sharing. I think we've got Christy, who did the Chapter 9 review, and those of you who did 9 review, if we could just keep that to about 4 to 5 minutes, that would be great, and just kind of give us an overview in that regard.
All right. Yeah. The lesson number 9 is really it's a good one, and we just when you do lesson number 8 with your clients, and we're getting their environment healthy. We're teaching them how to kind of have some plan in place to help them with cravings, and then lesson 9 is all about eating for weight control. Mm-hmm. So it's Chapter 8, 9, and 10, which this is the spot that you go to when your clients are about halfway to their goal, and then they start to feel panicky about what maintenance is going to be like, because all of a sudden they realize that this is more than diet, and that I don't want to go back to what I did before. I'm going to get what I had before, and then they're kind of freaking out about so this is really good. This lesson 9 is what it's all about. Chapters 8, 9, and 10 are getting them into what the glycemic index is all about, and the whole eating thing. And chapter 10 is really good, the one about putting it all together. So this is a great lesson, and I just want to open it up to you guys for you to tell me what what did you get out of it? What did you like? Or did you have any ahas, any things that you're like, okay, I need to, this is what I'm going to share with that client, or anything like that. Go ahead and share with us.
Well, a couple of things.
Did anybody do their lesson this week?
I'll go over a couple of things. I didn't do it this week, but I've done it before. So let me just kind of go over a couple of things that I really thought were great. A lot of people need visual because life is on the go. You're not always going to have your digital scale, with you wherever you are. And it's shocking. Shocking to the health coach who's been around health coaching for a while. You think everybody understands portion control, and they really don't know. So when you say, 5 to 7 ounces of protein, they don't know what that looks like. And you'll find a lot of guys might go over and a lot of girls might go under on their protein portion size. So giving them visuals, and I like how the Dr. A 9-inch plate in this particular lesson gives us kind of a visual of what our plate should look like. And I can tell you what I love about this, reviewing this, is that's what my family, my whole family, my kids, our plates look like this right here. For the most part when we eat. Maybe even a little less starch in general, but when we're more active or we need more, we'll up the vegetables and the fruits as needed. So that's what I love about it, is teaching people this color-coded system. I love the review on what glycemic foods are. So people know that and how they affect our energy. Like you said, the practical aspect of getting it out of people's heads. So until people, in my opinion, do chapter 9, most of our clients are going to be still making choices, not because they're trying to cheat, but because they just don't fully connect with it. This is the connection to what it is.
Yeah. Love that. Chapter 10, putting it all together. Anybody else have something they want to share? I don't know about you guys, but when I know that clients are about to read chapter 10, I always want to give them a little explanation in it, because when they read those menus and you look at that and they're like, there's bread in here and there's pasta in here, and I have to explain to them, well, this is not the 5-in-1. This is a healthy eating plan that Dr. Anderson is putting out there as an option for you to do a weight reduction. I tell them, I say, if you want to get on the super highway, we'll get our meal replacements and we'll do the 5-in-1, and we'll get on the super highway and get you where you want to go. You want to take the Route 66, that's going to slow you down, but you'll get there. You could do something like this. So just so you know, when people are reading this chapter, it could confuse them unless you explain to them a little bit beforehand what chapter 10 is all about.
Right. And that's what coaching is all about. It's about framing things for people.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Love it.
Martin, did you want to share something?
I was waiting. It was just a comment on what Alex said. They kind of brought something to mind last week and it was just funny how these based on what we learn here, what pops into our fast-acting brain at times. I was on one of my clients' calls, and we were talking about are they getting enough? Are they getting enough protein, or are they measuring their lean and green? And I just was trying to tie into them that you'll get to a point where you can visually look at your protein and know if it's about 6 or 7 ounces. And they hadn't quite made that leap yet, where they can put it on a plate and it doesn't have to go on a scale. They just know that that's the proper amount, or that it's not enough.
Yep.
And that's not something that you ever can just assume that you're going to know. We get the food scale out and the measuring cups to just check ourselves every once in a while and see. And you know what? Usually what happens is we are not getting enough protein. I mean, like I remember got the food scale out and went, okay, I made turkey meatballs. I don't put anything in them but spices, and then I make these little meatballs. And so I'm like, okay, well, gonna see how many is, because I was thinking, it's probably 6 or 7 of these little meatballs, and I put them on there, and it was less than 4 ounces, my 6 or 7 meatballs that I was thinking was my serving that I'd been eating. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm supposed to have 6 ounces of this, and I'm less than 4. I was like almost half of what I needed to actually be eating. So, you know, it's a really good idea to encourage your clients. And I do that all the time. I say, hey, you know, I'll send a little email out that says, hey, how long's it been since you got your measuring cups and your scale out? So not a bad idea for all of us to do, just to make sure that we've got our portions right.
That's right.
All right.
Very good.
Good job, guys. Any other comments before we move on?
And then one last thing I was going to add from Alex from the previous comment about how we brand, or in coming up with the MetaFast, I'm doing MetaFast. I was driving through a parking lot last week after meeting with a pre-client, and in the car, and that you guys may seen, or at least up here in the Portland area, you'll see cars that are branded Take Shape for Life. I'm health coach, lose weight, ask me how. I'm driving through the parking lot, and there's a car parked, and it has MetaFast on the back of the window, across the whole window. So it's not Take Shape for Life. This guy is branding himself as a MetaFast salesperson.
Yeah, that's out there. And so one of the things that we have to look at is, you know, what do we have in our hands, really? And that is something that will always, it's like doing the laundry. You're never finished creating. You know, it's like the comment that we said earlier, is the more you delve into this, the more you get into the relationships, the connections process, it'll just blow your mind. I just wanted to check and see somebody who might be able to help with this. Do we have Christina File on the phone? Are you on, Chris? I know she was planning on being on. I'm not sure if she actually made it.
Yes, I'm here. I was just muted. I was trying to talk.
Great. Christina, you came last night to the Healthy Happy Hour that was over at Tiffany Revel's house, who's a health coach of Amanda Seeley, who just started health coaching a month and a half ago. So Amanda's already got her first health coach. They're all moving along. If you could just give us literally a minute and a half overview of what you saw, a bigger picture of what Take Shape for Life is over just the food, because we didn't really talk about food last night at the Healthy Happy Hour. We talked about life, but I'd love to get your new coach's perspective of what you saw in the creative process. And if you keep it about 90 seconds to 2 minutes at the most, that would be great.
Of what I saw, or of what Take Shape for Life is about?
Yeah,
which question?
Yeah, the question is what did you, from a new coach's perspective, you went to the Healthy Happy Hour, and what did you observe happening there in that dynamic? What was it that were some of the takeaways for you out of being at a group of people?
So what I saw happen is there's a combination of different people in different phases. There are people there in transition, there were new clients, there were people who were just investigating it for the very first time. There were coaches there of different experience levels, new coaches, veteran coaches, and it was just like a big get together. It was like a social event. Everyone was there just sharing their experiences, their testimonials, and just really there to support each other and help each other find success on their own personal journeys toward finding optimal health, whatever that may or may not be for each individual person. And it was a lot of sharing, and it was very casual. It was very comfortable. I had a client there who was very shy and timid, and she actually opened up and shared her story a little bit, which I was completely surprised. I did not expect her to do that at all. She's very, very shy when it comes to public speaking. So there's power in groups, and it was just really fun to watch that happen.
That's huge. And I'd like just to piggyback, because this is actually going to go into my topic that I'm going to talk on. I'd like to go to, is Amanda still on with us right now? Or did she have to drop off? I don't see her anymore, so she maybe had to go. Amanda, her mom joined the program, and one of the comments that she said about her mother about a month and a half ago is that my mom will never do this, but she totally, this would benefit her life and so much. She was so concerned about her mom having an early death before her time, and her mom says she wants to be with her grandkids. Well, now her mom is down about 14 pounds on program, and did that through the holidays, started the week before Christmas. And her mom shared, and her mom is completely this is her mom shared this last night. She goes, I'm a pessimist. I'm not a happy person. Those of you who don't know me before this, for me to even be talking to you all is not who I am. And she shared what's happening for her. Her daughter next to her started bawling and crying. So do you know what you have in your hands? You know, that's really kind of the question here is this really about weight loss? Is this really about just, you know, what we're eating? Or is this so much more? You know, and I want to kind of open that discussion up a little bit. And I want to talk a little bit about how we as coaches can kind of understand how to properly do a full circle offering to people, and how we need to, if we're really going to do that, what I have to choose is I have to choose to really pay attention to the whole person and not just the weight loss conversation. Does that make sense? And does anybody have any comments or thoughts on that before I go? Please, Daniela.
Alex, so interesting that we're having this conversation, because I just got a text from one of our patients that was saying, hey, can I have a MetaFast appointment today? Mm-hmm. And, you know, I just think they latch onto that because that's a known. It's been around 30 years. They've heard it. They've seen it. Plus, dieting is so familiar. So it's our job to help them understand a different perspective. So my text back to him is, yes, I have a 2 o'clock Creating Health appointment available for you. Can you come to that today? Mm. So, you know, they're going to be here. But just kind of trying to help them gently, you know, it's in the back of their mind. Why did she say that? They don't understand that yet, but they will.
That's right. Other people, just feel free to jump in.
Yeah, I'll just jump in on that. That's something that I've always been, you know, talking about with my members and my clients and stuff in my boot camp, is that, and it even addresses that issue in the 6 steps to creating optimal health. Is like step 2 is weight loss is only step 2 in the process. You're just barely even getting started. I mean, now you have a whole world and a life ahead of you to create that optimal health in your life, and that's great. You're at that optimal weight that you need to be at, but now there's so many other facets, like they talk, your mind and exercise and your sleep and so many other things that creating optimal health fits into, and that's where the focus now needs to be. It's like celebrate that success of getting that healthy weight, but now we have a whole nother journey ahead of us to accomplish as far as health as a whole.
I love it.
Can I say something, Alex?
Yeah, please.
Hey,
Lorraine, good to see you.
Good to see you too. Also, I'd like to introduce to you one of my new clients, Chase Treadway.
Hey, Chase.
How is everybody?
Hey, we're doing well.
Speaking, and this falls in line with speaking on the whole aspect of health. And I'm running across a lot of clients that are interested in getting healthy, and they don't, you know, physically look like they need to lose weight. Of course, we all know about the metabolic syndrome stuff, and we do the health assessment and find they're truly not healthy, but they want to get ultimately healthy. And here we have Chase, who is not one that you would look at and say, oh, well, he needs to lose weight. Chase, I'll let you speak a little bit on your own and why you joined and how you really chose to be ultimately healthy, you know, and why you're wanting that. Is that okay, Alex?
Oh, absolutely. Please do.
Okay.
I'll keep it short too, so no one has to worry about spreading out too much time here. But basically, where I come from is a standpoint of a recovering spinal cord injury. I guess Craig Blanchette is on the same level as this, but what I've realized over the past few years is that my health has become such a key factor in my day-to-day life, and my recovery on not just a mental level of getting right between the ears, but also a productive kind of everything adds up when you're physically healthy, and when you've got your mind right, you get your body right. It's amazing the possibilities that can really and truly come from those things. Mm-hmm. So I find that having proper portion meals and almost like a healthy food etiquette, so to speak, is truly key for a lot of these things to take shape.
Mm. Absolutely. Well, I'm so glad to hear right from the very beginning, Chase, you're getting the mindset piece which over time is something we try our best to integrate. And once we as coaches realize that's what we have to actually help that client do, it really starts to set things off, and that you have that so early on. So obviously you have a coach who's led you to great information, but you're also a person who's ready for that. I just out of curiosity, just so we can connect, how did you guys meet? And just keep that like 15 seconds.
Lorraine and I, she was actually my old therapist when I was going through early occupational therapy. So she had on that, hadn't talked to her in a few years, and then we clicked over the past couple weeks, and boom.
Kind of reintegrated. And what I love about that, Lorraine, is all the rest of the coaches, is she didn't judge Chase to say, oh, he wouldn't be a good client because he's not overweight, like extremely overweight. Yeah, there's just so many great health coaches and people getting healthy that want that energy balance. But what do you have in your hands? People want that healthy mind. They want clarity, focus. Christina Files' husband last night shared, and he said, honestly, I wasn't really interested in that much about the weight loss. I wanted to have clarity in my brain and the way I thought. And there was something that he said that I had said that gave him some hope that he could have more clarity through Take Shape for Life. And that's where all his questions came from. Could you help me with better goal setting? Could you help me with clarity in my mind? And he didn't realize that his nutritional chemical makeup of how he was eating was affecting his clarity as well. So both sides. Anybody else want to share? Because this is actually, I haven't revealed what the topic I'm talking about is fully, but you'll see how what we're talking about is key to it.
Yeah, hey Alex.
Go for it.
Oh, go ahead. Who's that?
It's Mark. Okay. Sam, you can go ahead first.
Oh, Mark, no, you're more important. Go ahead.
I wouldn't say that, but you just used the word, Alex, hope, and that's one of the things that Take Shape for Life has personally brought to me. And in the first couple of chapters, there's a lot about the 10,000-year-old version of us, and Sam, and I believe you've heard me say this.
Can you share your camera, or are you not in a position to share your camera?
I'm actually driving right now.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, go ahead and just talk.
But in one of the first couple chapters, it says that, our bodies are naturally instinctful to, want to just eat everything. And I think that's something that everybody can kind of, touch in, everybody can relate to that. And I think it's just something good to talk to clients about, because I think it gives them hope, that they're not weak. They don't have the lack of discipline. They just have the lack of knowledge that, their body is fighting them every step of the way. Their body is not necessarily on their side with this whole weight loss thing. And then, of course, also later on in the same chapter, they talk about the high fructose corn syrup and how it, messes with your appetite and pretty much makes you insatiable to hunger. And you're just constantly, you can't cure that hunger. So I think that's, that the beginning there is really good at giving hope to clients who feel hopeless, who feel like, man, I've done this diet stuff and it just doesn't work. And I really think that's why it's hit home for me so strongly.
That's powerful. That goes back to a conversation Craig Blanchette brought up a couple weeks back about how we do need to kind of empathize with their pain and their problem. And if we have a little bit, sometimes it's good for us to be a little vulnerable to say, I know what that feels like, and there is hope, and to give that sense that here's what's happening and what we're doing. So I think that what you're bringing out is the It's Not Your Fault part of the Take Shape for Life book. And if you haven't gotten to the Discover Your Optimal Health book is obviously the newer book that talks about the environment we live in with our old design. But the chapter 1, as a fitness trainer, when I first read the title of chapter 1, I was completely offended, because it basically was a cop-out, in my opinion. Like when it says it's not your fault that you're overweight, I was like, it's totally their fault they're overweight. That's kind of how my mind was. Yeah, you're eating too much, you're blah, blah, blah. But that's how we're conditioned as fitness professionals to think. Get your body moving. Come on, get to boot camp. Like, eat your chicken and your vegetables and cut that right, blah, blah, blah. But what it is that I look back and we are surrounded by every bit of influence. The way your brain is hardwired, like you're saying, Mark, you have very little chance unless you have a support system and a structure that breaks you out of that weight loss mentality and creates that micro bubble around you. It's huge. Do you have anything else you want to say on that, Mark? I just want to resonate with you and just say I had to break some major concepts to accept what that was saying, to even read the chapter.
No, not really. I mean, that's pretty much the extent of what I was talking about.
Yeah, huge. Okay, well, this is phenomenal. So what this is about is, are you guys kind of feeling the love in the group? You know, feeling the energy of everybody? This is about being plugged in. That's what this is. This is about connectedness. And my topic is just on that. It's about being connected, being in the pack, being connected and plugged in. And when you are bringing on a new client, I want you to think in your mind that you're not bringing a new client on. You're integrating them into the pack. And if you haven't created a pack or a support structure or a system yet in your business that is I want you to picture it as a building. I drew this picture for a client the other day. If you guys can see that, okay? And I want you to think of the foundation of that building being their why, what they are standing on, the purpose, if you will. And I want you to think about the ceiling being Take Shape for Life as a great umbrella, but really being that there's all this kind of other support. And Take Shape for Life isn't a corporation. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a physical building. I'm talking about a philosophy or a way of full living. And I want you to picture that the walls and the framework and all those things are all the different great components of a support structure. Like, would you guys, I guess, if you will, agree that we are right now inside of a support structure by even being in this call? Yeah, and someone, some way, somehow, I'm going to mute a line. Where's that feedback? Not sure. But somewhere, some way, somehow, someone integrated you into this support structure. Would you guys all agree? Someone introduced you, and however that happened for you, and you might have been resistant in the beginning. I was completely resistant, not verbally, but schedule-wise, hectic-wise, commitment-wise, logistic-wise. But eventually, over the course of the relationship and the time and being around other types of support, I said, you know what, I'm going to make a commitment. And I had to change my schedule. I had to cancel some clients, shuffle my schedule around to make this happen because I was hitting a ceiling in my personal growth that I wasn't happy with. So plugging in to leadership and my mentorship team was key. Becoming fully integrated as a client myself so that I could teach my clients how to fully integrate was key. So this call, as an example, happens every Friday at 9 o'clock, unless you get a notice that it's not happening, whether someone forgets to send a reminder out or whether the email goes out or not. Unless you get a call that it's not happening or there's some kind of a technical difficulty, it's always going to be on at 9. And what I thought I would do is I would talk about getting plugged in and integrated to the point where all of a sudden you get so integrated that you're proactive, that you see this business as your business, and you're not doing it because your coach reminded you about the leadership call. You're not doing it because your coach reminded you about the Friday. And I understand other logistics. This isn't a pressure call to say you have to be on this call. That's not what this is. But it's saying that when you are looking at that, you're going to your coach and you're saying, how can I be integrated as much as I can? I'll use Daniela as an example. She's a great example. She runs a very busy, prominent practice, like a medical practice. She's a mother. She's a wife. She's a charitable giver. She's got a lot of stuff going on in her life. Making the Friday call every week is not an option all the time because of that dynamic. And nor as a coach do I have the expectation that she's going to be on every week. However, I didn't have to send her a reminder all the time to be on this call. She can get on when she can. Does that make sense, what I'm saying? Is to look at taking that. And I remember the day that I made that decision that Craig should never have to send me another reminder again on anything. Like when it comes to the February trainings, the next training, when the next Go Global is, and because I know how to go to TSFL Coach Connection events and find that date. It's not saying I never ask Craig a question or saying, hey man, I'm driving, can you send me the link? That's not what I'm saying. But I know in general where to find that stuff. So I'm gonna, if you could unmute your lines, and I'd love to hear your personal opinions, even if you've been quiet for a while, why you want to be integrated, why you want to be plugged in, and why you want to help your clients learn to get plugged in. Please jump in. Just interrupt people. Jump over the top of them.
Well, I'll start. I just, oh, sorry, Kim. Are you going?
Just go. No. You got it. Go. Yeah, you go.
So I'm just excited to be able to be back. I have to say that I have felt a little left out and deprived, and that's of my own decision making, which needed to be made. You know, things that needed to be done. But I can feel the warmth, and what's even more phenomenal, I just want to really give you all a big hand, because in the time period that I haven't been on, this webinar has developed phenomenally. I mean, the content, the sharing, it's stepping up. You guys are awesome. I'm proud to be part of you. Yay, team.
Mm-hmm.
I'll jump in. I trusted Craig to get me in shape, and I'm just following right behind him. So if he tells me to sneeze, I'll sneeze, you know, whatever. And I guess that's personally what's going on in my head is I'm wondering why a couple of my coaches have taken a couple weeks off. And so whatever encouragement I need to kick them to get back on, I'm open to hearing any advice. So anyway,
Yeah,
thank you.
I'll tell you what, as you plug into the pack, you'll actually get that naturally. At the same time, there's obviously some specific coaching. I would encourage you to go to Craig and ask him how he helped me to get integrated, and give that to you in the light of how you can help your coaches, because I was downright wasn't organized in my life. I hadn't had my priorities lined up. I was busy being busy, okay? And I didn't literally make that action list of what would actually give me what I really wanted versus what I wanted. And I'd say things like this: I don't have time for planning. Doesn't that sound so
what is that? What is that saying? If you plan to fail, you fail to plan.
If you fail to plan, you're planning to fail.
That's right. Exactly. But that's the irony of that. The irony of not having time to plan. Well, if you don't plan, right, you're going to never have time.
Right.
So I work with Craig. Yeah. Other things.
I plug in because I'm new, and so I want to plug in because I want to know everything. I'm like the sponge, and it's like the more I know, the more confident and comfortable I feel. So for me, connecting and plugging in really helps me to stay on track and learn more so that I can help other people. So thank you, everybody, for helping to share the information so I can learn.
That is so awesome. April.
And Alex, I was just thinking about this is a great place where we can, you know, you can, when you're just new, you plug in, you learn whatever you can, but then it's also that this really fun, safe place when all of a sudden you realize, I want more. I don't want to go to to have to go to somebody else and ask them every next step that I need to make. I want to be proactive. I want this to be my thing. And this is a great place to come when you're ready to kind of like for me, the word, you know, when we talk about being a leader, that terrifies me. I'm like, I don't want to be a leader. I'm not a leader. But the truth of the matter is, well, yeah, I really kind of do want that. I'm just afraid of that. So this is a place, the reason I want to be plugged in here is this is a place where you can safely kind of spread your wings a little bit and figure out, well, what does that mean when I take the initiative? Yeah, and you know, I first would just do it. Yeah, I'm kind of like Stan. I'll do whatever Craig tells me to do. Well, pretty soon, Craig kind of let me go a little bit so that then I could come to him. He was very autonomy supportive. He's like, if you want something, just let me know. And then I had to go, oh, I do need something, and make it mine, not just wait for somebody else to tell me what to do, but to make it mine and say, okay, this is what I want to accomplish. Now, can you help me decide what's my next thing? And so this is why it's so important to be connected too, because eventually you're going to get to that spot where you're like, I really want a little bit more than just being told what to do, or just assuming someone else is going to do it, and we'll just go, you know, I'll just, you know, ride on their shirt tails. At one point you're going to go, oh, I really do want to develop leadership. I really do want to be better at this, and this is going to be a super safe place for it. So we need to be connected no matter where we are on our journey as a health coach.
That's right.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely. No, completely. I was just taking notes, so it was just awesome.
I'm going to jump in. The reason I left where I was working, my job, was because there was no more community anymore. I think God created us to be people who need each other and to be in community, whether it be in our church or, but we need other people. The affirmation that I received from all of you all and from my health coach was addicting. And once I got on the meetings, I crave being on the meetings because I crave community. It helps me to move forward. You guys give me ideas, whether they're going to work for me or not. I still get the ideas. I write them down and I try to, use them as best I can. But I get fed. And when my cup gets full, then I can go out and help and fill others and come back and get fed again through the affirmation that everybody gives. And I think what's so addicting about Take Shape for Life and the people that are involved in this program as coaches and clients is that we give each other such affirmation and uplifting that you just have to keep coming back for that. And that's why, you can say, I don't have time for the meetings, but once you get hooked on, you cannot stay away. That's how I feel. There's just so much more to learn.
What you just said is key, is that once you're hooked on, you can't stay away. What happens, and I'm going to go to Stan, because I'm not sure if Stan is still there, is that everything you said rings true. And it also rings true, once you start looking away at all the other distractions, you will take yourself off, right? And that's what happens with a coach. I know I've lived it, is that you get distracted by the urgency of life and you forget the importance of the relationships and the feeding yourself and the personal growth and the giving back. And it seems like a mystery. Why would anybody in their right mind leave the pack or leave that? You're not in your right mind when you do. You know what I mean? You're in that other mind that's in that other area. So it's an and thing. It's not a but thing at all. It's a, yeah, you're right. You're in that place where you're in that warm spot and you're in that. But we do have real things that happen in life. We have triggers that send us in a downward spiral. We're kind of on a high right now, right? And at the same time, we need to be aware that there's going to be stuff that's going to try and rock our foundation. And that's the moment you draw closer into the pack. And if you're a little wounded, that's the time not to go hide underneath a tree or a rock somewhere and bleed out, right? That's the time to run to the center of the pack and say, protect me, I'm hurting. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, if I can add.
Yeah.
Echoing what everybody's been saying, but a little bit, I don't know if anybody knows all of my journey but for the past few months, I've just now gotten out of the hospital. So part of me was having an injury, having an infection, and then battling that infection and then having my wound close. So for me, staying in the pack, because if it wasn't for you guys, be like what Alex has said, you kind of fall off and kind of get lost on your whole thing. So for me, being part of this, is just an incredible journey. And every week I'm learning something new, and so to help, to help the clients. So
that's huge. And your personal growth, like you said, your energy. You can't help other people unless you have your oxygen mask on, right?
Right, exactly.
Mask on first, yeah.
Harold, were you going to share?
Yeah, I was just going to add to what you were saying. Basically, we get to a level of excitement, and of course, our level of efforts are going to go up with that excitement. When that excitement comes down, typically our efforts come down. So what we got to say is basically we got to be committed to something. So to me, Take Shape for Life in this community and you guys is my commitment. So if I'm committed to something, then I don't have to be excited for my efforts to always stay at high levels.
Thank you. So many people are using emotion to do things, and that's what gets you in trouble. You got to do stuff because you believe in them and they matter. They got to do stuff because it's the right thing to do. It's not about how you're feeling. It's about what you want. And there's a huge difference, and that's what I heard you say, Harold.
I was just thinking that same thing, Harold, because taking this all in is we come here every Friday to what? To improve our skills as a health coach. I mean, stay plugged in, but also to improve our skills as a health coach. And it's not until we come, or that the people that in life, when do we start doing something regularly? It's when it becomes a priority. When we've made it a priority in our life to improve or to increase our skills, to get better as a coach, to learn how to be more empathetic, and just grow. Well, once we do that, and I'm going to touch into since it's Super Bowl weekend, I'm going to use a quote I heard this weekend from the Seahawks quarterback. And he talked about how he became so successful and why he's successful in life, not just on the field. And his quote was, preparation is what gives us the separation. So if we want to be the best we can, it's preparing ourselves, coming here, learning, getting fed, doing our lessons, doing our reading, doing outside reading and other areas of leadership. That's what will help us get the separation to be the best we can be, so we can be help our clients more.
That's huge. And it's not that our goal is to stay separated. It's our goal to pull people along with that. It just happens to be when you're pumping hard, you're going to separate yourself from the masses of people. And that can feel a little fearful when you're running against the grain. You know, when you're not going with the flow of dissipation that people are in. What you do, though, is you stand out like a beacon of light and hope. And so don't be afraid to shine. It's not that we're afraid so much of, you know, who am I, of fear itself. It's are you afraid to be that beacon of hope? Are you afraid to stick your head up? Or are you just so afraid that someone's going to persecute you for doing that? Because I guarantee you, if you stick your head up for the right things in life, you're gonna suffer. There's no question about it. It's not me bringing this up. This has been told from days of old. That's right. Well, this is so amazing. All right. Well, I know we've gone a little bit over the time for the 10. We're clearly into the after hours. I know some of you have to go. I wanted to leave you all with a visual. And for those that want to stay for the next 15 minutes and just continue chatting, I do this little chart. And it's not great handwriting, but it's just real. It's a pie chart. And if we'll stay in relationship building with the majority of our time, not take shape for life, relationship building, authentic relationships with people, caring, living our lives, getting your oil changed, and caring about that person that you're talking to. You going to the doctor's office, waiting in the Department of Licensing line and caring about people. Stay on purpose, not to get a client, but to care about people. You will naturally develop friendships along the way. And not everybody's going to want to be your friend, and you have to be okay with that. You're not going to want to be everybody's friend. It's not about being happy and being everybody's friend all the time. It's about caring about other people, being on purpose, looking for the relatability. Relationship means relate. Okay, looking for common things. And then if you'll spend a certain amount of time, like what we're doing now, is in the jacuzzi, the learning and the affirming. That's what we're doing. We're learning and affirming right now. But look at the percentage of time. It's not that much that we spend. This is an hour a week. Maybe you're on the doctor's call for their half hour. Not doctor's call, leadership call for their half hour. Maybe you're on the webinar for like another hour, right? But out of 168 hours, we're probably spending 3 hours in the jacuzzi, right? That's great. However, we want to spend the rest of our time, all these relationships that we're developing, people are going to raise their hand, and that's where you get into this other area called the helping and the doing. That's doing the do. That's basically out there letting people know you can help them with those needs, wants, pains, problems, concerns that you've learned. And where did you learn about those needs, wants, pains, problems, and concerns? That's an open mic question. Yes. Somebody help me. Where did you learn about people's pains, problems, needs, wants, and desires? What part of that? What part of the pie? You remember what that big part of the pie was on that side?
Relationship.
Yes. In the relationship building side of your life, you're going to identify people's needs, wants, pains, problems, and desires. But you have to be on purpose. Don't go to Starbucks to get clients. You go to Starbucks to order your coffee or to get online or whatever. At the same time, go to Starbucks knowing that there are people who are looking for connectedness. You know what I mean? They really are. And if you don't know how to do that and that just downright scares you, just be open-minded. And Harold, give the quote about the open mind.
About the open mind?
Was it you who brought up the open-minded quote? Oh, that was Israel. He's not on the call. New coach Israel, who is not on the call anymore. He just hit manager in 45 days of starting as a coach. So congratulations to Israel. He's not on the call. But what he said to me after about a week or two, he went to, within his first week, he went to Super Regional and Greg Rex. He says, Alex, I'm all in. He goes, because I have an open mind, and an open mind is like an open parachute. It only works when you open it up, right? And I encourage you to open your mind up to people and relationships when you're out in your day. Just be on purpose. So with that in mind, does anybody else want to share or add anything to us? Some upcoming trainings. If you haven't been yet to tsflcoachconnection.com, you will see that there's an events tab on TSFL Coach Connection. It will tell you where the local trainings in your area around the country are. Phenomenal place to look. I look there not just for myself. I look to see where the trainings are around the country because I might know people that live in those areas. And not that I'm going to get them to a training right off the bat, but I think, oh, if they're doing trainings in that area, that jogs my mind to start talking to somebody. So there's an Atlanta training coming up with Tim Cox is going to be in Atlanta. And I'm like, ooh, I know some people who have businesses in Atlanta. I can start talking to them. And if it naturally grows towards that, I can say, hey, I've got one of my business partners coming into Atlanta. I'd love to talk to you more about potentially expanding into your area. And then I wouldn't say go to that event right off the bat. I'd say put it in your calendar, but let's talk and see if what I'm doing is a good match for what you're looking for. Maybe we could do something together. And then I might start that conversation. If what I just said sounds like downright scariness to you, it's probably not for your business coach or your business coach's coach. You know what I mean? So use your leadership line to help you with that kind of thinking. So tsflcoachconnection.com for upcoming events and trainings to plug into. If you're in the Portland, Vancouver area, we've organized it so that every, first Saturday of the month? Or is it the second Saturday? What is it?
Second Saturday.
Every second Saturday of the month in the Portland, Vancouver area, we have 4 trainings going on. And those, they're at some dedicated locations right now, but they may switch around. So you can check for those. The calls that I try not to miss each week to stay plugged in for myself and my schedule, and I have to do a lot of makeup because I can't always make the exact time. I listen to the recording or go on to support calls online. I listen to the A-Team call Saturday mornings at 8 Pacific, so adjust for your time. I listen to the leadership call Mondays at 6 p.m. Pacific, and I listen to I plug into this call. What I do as far as the webinar, the team training webinar that comes on Wednesday is I fit that in typically on Saturday mornings. And like I said, I'm opening it up for the local people. Maybe we can meet for coffee and review that webinar together for those of you who might want to do that. So does anybody else have any specific needs or questions before we wrap up that you need help in your business specifically where we might be able to support you and encourage you? Okay, I think the cup is full.
Hey, Alex, what day is Tim Cox in Atlanta?
He hasn't given me the exact date. He said sometime at the end of February, I believe. Okay. So there is I know he's got a local event that he's just now starting to get the word out. It's going to be on mindset shifting. He's got a behavioral specialist coming who's one of the country's top mindset shift, how to establish just solid emotions towards certain habits and how to break negative patterns. And he's coming on the 15th, and he's doing a special event. It's not Take Shape for Life specific related. It's all about, and so I'm going to be bringing a lot of my other friends and partners that are kind of in the area of business leadership to this event as well.
In Vancouver?
It's going to be at the Heathman Lodge on the 15th, and you can get that information by emailing me if you would like to know about it. There is a fee for it. It's normally, I think this series that's coming is normally to the outside public, it's going to be $150. For Take Shape for Life coaches, it's only $59 because of Tim's relationship with this doctor. So
awesome.
What's that?
Who is that?
Oh, are you
Who is
local?
going to be speaking?
April, are you local Portland, Vancouver area?
Yeah, Woodland.
Okay, yeah. So I can't remember the doctor's last name. It's Dr. something Heisland and a guy named Mark Pionex or something like that. They're from the Irvine, LA area, and Tim Cox is flying them up to do a mindset leadership conference. It's going to be a half day from 8:30 till noon on Saturday the 15th. And if you would like information, you can email me at optimalliving365@gmail.com. optimalliving365@gmail.com. And the good news is Tim Cox is all our leader, so you don't have to check with your leadership to attend this because Tim Cox is our global, so he's recommending that I start getting the word out. Okay.
Okay.
Great.
Awesome.
All right, we'll see you guys.
Bye.